Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Maria once again. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to increase and decrease stitches. And a great way of why we would need that is when we want to do like a taper for sweater, and we want to do the arms, and we want to taper it down where it's, you know, a little wider up here down to like where it's thinner here, so you would decrease your stitches as you go. Or for example, if you're coming up the V-neck, you want to, you know, increase your stitches as you go down V, so, or you want to decrease if you're going up, okay? So that is a great way of being able to make fitted clothing, and it's a very easy technique to do once you get the hang of it. So let me show you here. I have my swatch. This is only 5 stitches. So what I want to do, and I'm going to go ahead and chain 3. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to be doing a double crochet, okay, to continue onward. And what's going to happen is, let's just say, for example, I need to increase a stitch, or the pattern calls for an increase, or whatever the case may be. What you want to do is, you see where this is one chain, and normally when we are crocheting, we put one stitch in each chain, right? Like you see here. Well, what happens with an increase is we're essentially turning one stitch into 2. So what we want to do is we want to crochet into the very same stitch. So by doing that, we turn one stitch. You see how this is 2 in that same chain? We turn one stitch into 2. So remember, I started with 5. So now if I come over here and I finish this row, right, I should have 6. So if I look, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go ahead and chain 3, and we're going to turn our work. And now we have an extra chain in here. As you can see, it's kind of V'ing out a little bit and going this way, right? It's going to increase this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and double crochet into the first stitch. We're going to go ahead and double crochet into that same stitch, therefore increasing from 1 to 2. And now we're going to go ahead and do that in every single one of the chains. We're putting 2 stitches in every single one of the chains. And now, as you can see, look at how this ends up looking. So it's kind of, you know, coming out this way. So it's increasing as we build the fabric outward, kind of in a fan formation, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and chain 3, and I'm going to turn my work, and you'll see, look at that. Look how many stitches there are there now, right? So that is how you increase. So if I do that again, right, 2 stitches in here, I'm basically doubling the amount of stitches that I have. Again, I am putting 1 double crochet into a chain, and then going ahead and putting another double crochet into that same chain. And you can do this with not just a double, you can do it with a single, with a half double, with a, you know, a double, with a half treble, with a treble, etc., etc. So, you know, you can continue on to increase in whatever stitch, whatever stitch you're doing. So, and trust me, it can get hairy if you're not careful and counting. It's always good to count your stitches and to ensure that you have the right amount before moving on to the next row. You can get lost pretty easy when you're doing a set of doubles or a set of increases. So, pardon my. So, doing 2 in every single one of these stitches, right? So 2 stitches in every single one of these chains. Went a little bit too fast on that one. Look at that. So that is your increase stitch. Now we're going to talk about decreasing, okay? So decreasing is a little bit more complex. I'm going to go ahead and chain 3 and turn. Now, to decrease a stitch means you want to turn 2 stitches into 1. So it's the opposite of an increase, right? So I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, because we're working in doubles right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain up to where I have 3 loops on my hook, and then I'm going to yarn over, okay? And then I'm going to go in through the next, pull, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull through all 3, all of those stitches, okay? So now I've turned that into 1 stitch. So 3, right, and 4. So here we go, 1, yarn over, go through the next stitch, the next chain, so you're making 2 chains into 1, yarn over, go through 1, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the next chain, pull up a loop, and then 3. All of those stitches. And you can see that we are going back down. And now you can do a decrease as well with your half double crochets or singles or trebles or etc., etc. And it's just a question of doing the same stitch but stopping right before you finish it and doing the exact same thing into the next chain and then pulling through all of those loops. That's basically how you would decrease. So that, in essence, this is why it's kind of scrunching up, is because now that width has been shortened. So now if I look at these stitches here, there's half of what I used to have. So, and then that is in essence, the same thing can be said for, if I frog this out, the same thing could be said for single crochet. Right, so you can increase in your single stitches and so on and so forth, right? So if I come over here, oh wait, this one got. So to demonstrate that, actually, let me go ahead and frog that. So these are your singles, right? So I'm over here. I'm going to go 1, right? And I'm going to turn, right? And then what I'm doing here is to decrease on a single. All I got to do is pull through. So this is how I would do a single, right? So I'd pull through, and that's a single, right? So instead of pulling through all the way, what you do is you just go right into the next chain, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3. So, and that is how you would do the single decrease, right? Red Hard Soft is a little bit of pain to work with, in my opinion. So there we go. Tends to split a lot. Okay, so there you go. And then you're essentially making it smaller, right? Same thing with a treble, same thing with a half. You're basically going to stop the stitch midway and then go into the next chain in order to decrease. So to increase, again, you're turning 1 stitch into 2, and to decrease, you're turning 2 stitches into 1. So if you keep that principle, you will be able to do your increases and decreases. Leave me any comments down below that you may have. I'll try to answer any questions. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And look for my next video, which I will talk about front posts and back posts. Thank you.